This is Bobb Fischer, and he's one of the greatest chess players of all time. Moreover, he is nearly as cool as I am. Furthermore, Bobb Fischer played some of the most beautiful chess the world has ever witnessed. So in this video I want to show you a game in which Bobb Fischer played such a beautiful middle game that you will cry? I don't know, so just watch the game. So Fischer starts with knight f3, developing a piece and preventing the opponent from pushing the pawn to e5. So his opponent just plays d5 instead, and right now Fischer plays g3. This is a bit of an uncommon move. So Fischer plays knight f3 to develop a piece, take the center, while also preventing his opponent from pushing the pawn to e5. So his opponent pushes the pawn to d5 instead, and right now Fischer plays g3. This is not a move that you would expect from the traditional point of view of chess, because normally you are told to put your pawns in the center first and then try something like g3, but Fischer was superior, so he knew better and he prioritized the development of his king side first. So basically he surrenders the central control and put his bishop on g2, and after e6 by his opponent he just castled, and you can see that his king side is fully developed. This is this setup here with the bishop on g2 is known as the Reti setup or Reti opening, which basically puts the development of the king side first, and later on you're supposed to destabilize the center via c4, d4 or e4. So after bishop e7, this is exactly what Fischer does. He plays c4 to attack the center. His opponent takes, and Fischer plays knight a3 to just win this pawn back. Because notice that right now the black pieces have one pawn extra. But this pawn, I mean, how do you defend it? Like this move just blunders a pawn as well. So you kind of just have to give this pawn back. So after this move, his opponent just castles and Fischer takes his pawn back. Then his opponent plays a6, which is a mistake according to the chess engines. A6 aims to play b5 on the next move and kind of have this stabilized pawn on b5. It's a bit hard to understand why this move is a mistake from a human perspective. I think from a human perspective, a6 makes some sense. Maybe it's not the best move, but yeah, I mean, mistake is a bit harsh. So Fischer takes the center with d4, controlling these two squares, and right now his opponent plays b5 to attack this knight. So of course Fischer needs to move this knight somewhere, maybe here or here in the center. Instead he just completely ignores this and plays knight e5. So it seems like Fischer just lost his pony, but of course moving this knight opened the scope for this bishop, so the rook would hang. So yeah, his opponent blocked this discovered attack on the rook, but right now Fischer needs to move his knight, so he plays knight to a5. The goal of this move is to aim at this very weak c6 square. I mean, if you play something like this, I just get the knight here, and after you trade, I get like a very nice position here with the knight. Here this pawn is mobilized, so this is not a position you want to be in as black. So that's why the opponent played c5. In this position, Fischer, however, none of the less decides to jump in with the knight and forks the queen and the bishop. Black moves the queen, bit of kind of obvious, and Fischer chops off the dark squared bishop. So after the recapture, notice that Fischer has the bishop pair, which is supposed to give the player who has the bishop pair an advantage, and in this game we will actually see why the bishop pair can be such a brutal tool to have. So the next sequence of moves really show what is tempo in chess and why it is so important. So we have e4 attacking the knight and forcing it to move away. The opponent plays knight b6, which is a mistake. Knight to f6 would have been a better move to keep the pressure on this e4 pawn. However, we have knight here, and Bobb Fischer just goes full savage mode in this position. So he takes the pawn, his opponent recaptures, and right now this bishop is going to bully the queen and the rook. So we have bishop here, queen moves. Notice that the queen needs to protect this knight from now on because it's attacked from the bishop. So we have rook c1, which is a mistake, but it's a super logical move, just putting more pressure on the queen. And right now, the opponent plays queen to c8, which is a blunder. The better move would have been knight here, attacking this bishop and moving the queen to some of these squares while not having to worry about this knight being captured. However, we have queen b8, and now Fischer really puts this bishop into work. So we have bishop c5, attacking the rook. The rook has to move, and right now we continue to attack the queen. Bishop to d6, attacking the queen. So the opponent moves his queen, and Bobb Fischer mercilessly continues to attack the queen. We have rook c7, putting pressure on the queen, while also putting pressure here on the f7 square, which is going to be important later in the game. So the opponent blocks the vision of the rook to the queen, and right now we have queen to f3, putting pressure on this f7 square with 1 the queen and 2 the rook. Notice that rook here or rook here is not available to play in order to protect this check, because the bishop of course blocks both these squares. So we have f5 trying to block the queen from going here, but in this position it's already over. Fischer just plays queen to h5, renewing this threat of going queen to f7. If his opponent would have played g6, this is just mate in 1. So the only possible way of not being checkmated is to give up the rook. But in this position it's completely over. I mean, if, for instance, his opponent would try to play rook here in order to prevent this new checkmate threat, let's say here, you would have queen check, and the only move is to block. And after this, we have queen here, and the only way to not get checkmated immediately is to give up your knight and other pieces, although it's mate in 6 anyway. So this was really, really beautiful. Fischer just, like at this point, let me skip to this part, like here just completely destroyed his opponent, having the initiative, always making new threats, just attacking mercilessly, and in the end the pressure was too much. And yeah, Fischer just won in a very beautiful style. I mean, was not like an endgame where he grinded the position down for like 2 hours, but just really nice play, really nice coordination of his pieces. And yeah, that's why Bobb Fischer is the GOAT and I'm not. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing to this channel, and we will see each other at the next great chess game that I'm going to show you. Have a great day.